দিন থেকেই চেষ্টা করে যাচ্ছি। ওই ট্রাইড আওয়ার বেস্ট। এরপরে আশা করি জনগণ আমাকে ক্ষমা করবেন আমার এই কটি কথা বলার জন্য। আমাদের নামে আমাকে অনেক অসম্মান করা হয়েছে। আমাদের সরকারকে, মামাটি মানুষের সরকারকে অনেক অসম্মান করা হয়েছে, অনেক অপমান করা হয়েছে। সোশ্যাল নেটওয়ার্কে অনেক ভুল বোঝাবুঝি হয়েছে, অনেক কুৎসা অপপ্রচার হয়েছে, যারা সাধারণ মানুষ জানতেন না যে এর মধ্যে একটা কালার আছে। মানুষ এসেছিলেন বিচার চাইতে তিলোত্তমার, কিন্তু আশা করি মানুষ বুঝতে পারছেন ওরা বিচার চায় না, ওরা চায় চেয়ার। আমি মানুষের স্বার্থে এমনকি নিজে পদত্যাগ করতেও রাজি আছি। আমার মুখ্যমন্ত্রীর পদ চাই না, কিন্তু আমি চাই মানুষ বিচার পাক, তিলোত্তমা বিচার পাক, আর সাধারণ মানুষ চিকিৎসা পাক। আর তা না হলে কিন্তু আপনাদেরও যেমন আন্দোলন আছে, পরিবারগুলো যদি আমাদের কাছে কৈফিয়ত চাই, আমাদেরও তো কৈফিয়ত দিতে হবে। আমরা তার জন্য তৈরি থাকবো। অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ। নমস্কার।
Okay, if we can come out of this, please. Could we come out? Right. That was a rather dramatic press intervention, and I am going to have to get reactions to it instantly. You saw Mamata there. Ironically, that was live streamed. In folding her hands, saying she tried her best. She was waiting and waiting. She waited for 3 days with the highest officials. She's very sorry. She wants justice for Tilottama. But what about the common people who are suffering because of these doctors' protests? Did I miss out on mentioning anything, Dr. Sarkar? Quickly, and then poor Nitish and Sharanya have been waiting patiently. Your quick response to Mamata Banerjee's statement there.
Yeah, just a couple of points, where she definitely stressed again about the compromise in treatment, that some people have lost their lives. So that was a familiar theme. Secondly, she probably hinted that if any further meeting was going on, as per what she said, what I understood right now is she wasn't very keen to be a part of it, supposing a meeting was again rescheduled for tomorrow. And what she really hasn't done before, probably it was more of an emotive line over there. She said if required, she was even willing to step down.
I see. We missed that. So because we don't understand Bengali, she must have said that. Can you tell us exactly what she said?
I never ever heard. I've never so far heard her using this line before. She said that if situation demands, she was, if made some people happy to resume, I think perhaps to resume normality, she would even consider stepping down. Probably, it was at the height of her emotion. And basically, I think these were the couple of more important takeaways from what she said.
So she did say, I'm just clarifying this again, not understanding the language. She's just said, if it makes somebody happy, if it solves this, I'm ready to consider stepping down.
Yeah, she said it. She said it.
Well, that's big breaking news at this hour. Mamata Banerjee folding hands in a live message, saying that she waited and waited. The doctors didn't show up, but also alluding to the fact that the patients have suffered. Poor patients have suffered because of these protests. The doctors must follow Supreme Court instructions. She apologizes. Dr. Sarkar, before I go to Nitish and Sharanya, very quickly, this offer of considering a resignation, what do we make of it? Will it pass? Will this emotionalism bring down, de-escalate the crisis?
I honestly think, they are trying to. I think she's on a campaign because they've had a lot of bad public perception over the last few days. They are trying to sort of open a counter argument that the strike is also harming the general people. So I think this is an emotional public relations push. Now time will tell whether it is really making any difference with the people in general. But given the mood of the city and the people overall, I have my doubts whether it will make a tremendous impact or not.
But she didn't actually say, I offer to resign. She said, if it helps anything, I'm willing to go.
She said that. She did. Yes.
If needed, would it be correct the way I'm translating it? If needed, I'm ready to consider stepping down?
I probably got to listen to the exact line again, but she did mention that resignation, that if it helps the impasse or makes people happy, she was willing to step down.
Okay,
You know,
let's get the. I know you have just 10 minutes with us, but let's get Nitish and Sharanya to respond as young doctors. What did you make of that press statement? Nitish, I'll start with you.
So whatever Dr. Kunal Solkar said, I absolutely say that whatever he translated was absolutely right. Also, when she said that she was going to resign from her post, just before that, she mentioned something. She stated that there
Yeah.
were around 30 junior doctors, and out of those 30 junior doctors, there were a group of two, three people who were not ready to go inside and attend the meeting and record. And like they were the ones who were actually against the live meeting thing, and they influence the other people so that they don't go inside, and perhaps some people are controlling them from outside. There is a color to
Mm-hmm.
it. People want her chair, and after that she said that she would resign. She also called termed us outsiders again, something she has done
Hmm.
previously back in 2019. And like I'm absolutely disgusted by this act right now. For one second I thought
Why?
that maybe she, because for one second in the initial minutes of her speech, she was actually making sense. She was saying that okay, we have to treat people and everything. Although I do not know, but like, she initially stated that somebody died without getting a catheter replaced. That is absolutely
Hmm.
bogus. It takes 30 seconds to change a catheter and everything. But like if it appeals to our humanity, yeah, we definitely want to give our best to people again. But at the same time, you cannot call us outsiders and people who are politically motivated, those who want to go after her chair, right? This has been a doctor's
Hmm.
movement. This has no political color. And I don't know why she's saying all that again.
And you are disgusted because you think that this was a non-serious offer to resign. It was more an aggressive offer, an aggressive targeting of
Yeah,
doctors.
exactly. I would like to say that she's trying to manipulate or rather appeal to the
Right.
masses of West Bengal and turn them against us and against our movement.
Sharanya, do you agree with that? That Mamta talking of resignation in the context that she did is an effort to manipulate the public?
I do. I think on the get go, the two primary tools that the government has had from the very beginning is the fact that they could appeal to our human side, saying that our absence from the workforce has been leading to deaths. Recently enough, now the Supreme Court order is something that they've uh, added to their agenda that they could put forward and and guilt us into coming back to work, right? But understand that when she tells you that she has been waiting for 3 days, we have been waiting for 34 days, right? Without any of our demands being met so far. The problem here in itself is the fact that the government has resorted to all kinds of methods to get their point across, and kind of it's somehow coming to a desperate measure at this point when the chief minister comes to an emotional angle, which has so far been
Mm-hmm.
absent from the protest, as we've seen so far. The only thing is that why did we ask? We asked for one minute thing, right? We wanted the thing to be live streamed. They
Yeah.
also wanted us to bring 15 people. Why did we not want 15 people? Because there are 26 medical colleges in Kolkata, in West Bengal, right? So different stakeholders in all of these different medical colleges, none of which resemble one another. So it's extremely important to have representative from all of these places so that an uniform understanding of what the problems are is achieved, right? The second place as to why we need live streaming, I think I agree with everything that Dr. Shorkar said. Putting on to it, I think number one, there's precedent, right? There's always been live streaming, as Dr. Shorkar mentioned. But also, I think what is even more important is that we create an uniform piece of evidence, right? This is a matter that's been handled in the court. If this is to go in court next week, so that we have an uniform piece of evidence. Why are we so scared that we would not have a uniform piece of evidence? Is simply because our words have been turned against us, and also things that we did not do have been used against us, right? Also, what Dr. Nitish said, I would like to add on to that. Like politicizing a movement is very efficient, right? Why? Because
Hmm.
as Kapil Sibal mentioned in the Supreme Court last week, a few days back, that the doctors were responsible for hurting policemen, and then they refused treatment to them. So understand that when we are aligned with a political movement, the government can use that as a tool against us, right? And use that use the impetus of an opposition party, and use it to move us to a cause that we are not aligned with.
Hmm.
So that is the reason why it is very important to not politicize this movement. We do not hold any banners. We only want one thing: we want justice, we want better working environments. None of those issues have been met so far.
Sharanya, before I go back to Dr. Sarkar, both from Dr. Sharanya and Dr. Nitish, this kind of, because again, please forgive me, but I don't follow Bangla, so I'm only going by what three of you are telling me about what the Chief Minister said. This comment about the possibility of resignation, do you take this seriously, Dr. Sharanya?
So I think there might be two kinds of angles to it, right? So there might be an invincibility that is in play, right? The fact that no matter how far, how wider we might go to our protests, this might be the end goal, right? As I said earlier, that there was an emotional angle that the government is trying to
Yes.
play. This might be that emotional angle. You see, I have given up. This is, I am, the ball is in your court, but it really isn't, right? The ball is in hers.
Mhm.
It's her decision to make, which she isn't, right? And to provide us with an angle that she is showing vulnerability is something
Yeah.
that seems a little desperate.
Yeah. Nitish, you want to add to that before I give Dr. Sarkar a quick word?
I absolutely agree with what Sharon said. There is an absolute emotional angle to it, and she is not at all serious about resigning from her post. She wouldn't do that, and like she won't let her officials also resign because, as I had already mentioned before, that there is some sort of nexus between her and the DG of West Bengal Police and the Principal Secretary. They came out and they commented that there is a limitation to everything. She's outright threatening us and trying to appeal to the masses so that they can turn against us. I don't think she's going to resign.
Yeah. Well, the doctors, no, what is this? Okay, the Trinamool Congress has put this out. It takes two to engage in meaningful dialogue. After being turned down twice, the West Bengal government made an effort to reconcile. What matters more, live streaming or reaching an amicable resolution? Dr. Sarkar, let's bring you in. Can we unmute Dr. Sarkar, please? Yeah, go ahead, Dr.
Well,
Sarkar.
honestly, Sharanya, both from the Sharanya and Nitish, we all concur on what they have said. It is very important to understand that most eagerness to get back to work is in the juniors themselves. Okay. The juniors have never for a minute said so that they want to procrastinate this issue. So that should not be mistaken.
Yeah.
Secondly, is look, I really think it is not sounding convincing at all. The reluctance to live stream, as I said, it was almost second nature in West Bengal government to live stream everything. And for that matter, Supreme Court, when they discuss this case, they are on live streaming. Okay. So how can Supreme Courts can be cited to be a kind of a roadblock to live streaming when Supreme Court itself is live streaming whatever arguments, whatever depositions are going on. So the live streaming refusal hasn't gone down very well. But what I'm a little bit skeptical about, Barkha, is that should the meeting happen today, with the presence, it would not have been a comfortable meeting. It will not be a comfortable meeting for the government because it is all very convenient for the government to solve somebody else's problem. When the doctors get manhandled by some agency from outside and the government convenes a meeting, acts as a protector, gives some facilities, that's a different perspective. Here, 90% of the uncomfortable questions will all be directed against the government and their manhandling, A, of the investigation, B, of the healthcare management. So this is not going to be very pleasant hearing for the government. So I appreciate why they are a little bit reluctant to live stream. But in the next meeting, whenever is to happen, if the CM is not here, I think the
Yeah.
boys and girls will become even more stern and adamant, and they are going to stick to the letter and spirit of their 5 point demand. And this is going to be a very hard trek from now onwards. I wish it
Okay.
was resolved today. Sadly, it wasn't.
I want to, I want last comments, quick last comments from all of you, but I'm going to play out again just the specific comment she made about considering her resignation because I think it got lost, and I have to thank you, Dr. Sarkar, because she did say that bit in English, So I didn't pick it up. But I want to play that statement again. And final quick comments from all three of you. Let's listen in. We need the sound, guys.
সিঙ্গুরে আসেনি, কিন্তু আমরা প্রথম দিন থেকেই চেষ্টা করে যাচ্ছি। উই ট্রাইড আওয়ার বেস্ট। এরপরে আশা করি জনগণ আমাকে ক্ষমা করবেন আমার এই কটি কথা বলার জন্য। আমাদের নামে আমাকে অনেক অসম্মান করা হয়েছে। আমাদের সরকারকে, মামাটি মানুষের সরকারকে অনেক অসম্মান করা হয়েছে, অনেক অপমান করা হয়েছে। সোশ্যাল নেটওয়ার্কে অনেক ভুল বোঝাবুঝি হয়েছে, অনেক কুৎসা অপপ্রচার হয়েছে, যারা সাধারণ মানুষ জানতেন না যে এর মধ্যে একটা কালার আছে। মানুষ এসেছিলেন বিচার চাইতে তিলোত্তমার, কিন্তু আশা করি মানুষ বুঝতে পারছেন ওরা বিচার চায় না, ওরা চায় চেয়ার। আমি মানুষের স্বার্থে এমনকি নিজে পদত্যাগ করতেও রাজি আছি। আমার মুখ্যমন্ত্রীর পদ চাই না, কিন্তু আমি চাই মানুষ বিচার পাক, তিলোত্তমা বিচার পাক, আর সাধারণ মানুষ চিকিৎসা পাক। আর তা না হলে কিন্তু আপনাদেরও যেমন আন্দোলন আছে, পরিবারগুলো যদি আমাদের কাছে কৈফিয়ত চাই, আমাদেরও তো কৈফিয়ত দিতে হবে। আমরা তার জন্য তৈরি থাকবো। অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ। নমস্কার।
Can we come out, please? Okay, last comments there. I guess we roughly translated this correctly, Dr. Sarkar. But so I'll give you the last word. I'll give Nitish and Dr. Haldar to give their closing comments. Dr. Nitish, I'll start with you. And let's also show the shots of the doctors who, as Dr. Sarkar said, are waiting, squatting on the road outside the gate. Can we please bring up those pictures as well? Yeah, Dr. Nitish, go ahead.
So, as I had already mentioned, that she's commented about the color of the political, like the movement that we are having, and like she's so outright saying that the people who are protesting, the doctors who are protesting, they don't want justice, they want chair. She absolutely mentioned this, and then she said that she is going to resign if it, if it appeals to the masses. Now I'm repeating that I'm absolutely disgusted by this comment of hers. She's trying to, turn the entire protest against us. She's trying to turn the people against us, and we won't let this happen. Our protest will go on, and we will show people what the truth is.
Dr. Haldar, last thoughts?
Everybody asks me what the incentive of working as a junior doctor is. We don't get remunerated very well. The working conditions are terrible. Why do we do it? I think what most people don't understand is the fact that we have this inherent sense of responsibility and care that we deliver to our patients. The problem is the government is trying to flip it around and try to tell us that we don't care for our patients, and is trying to tell our patients that we don't care for them, in a means to try and make them turn against us. But I can tell you that I have been at the protest. I was there last night all night. There have been people swarming in at 2 at 3 in the night with food, with supplies, with everything. The people are with us. The movement is going strong, and we have no signs of exhaustion, right? They might want to try and test our patience, but we are not backing down. We have our seniors above us, we have our juniors below us, and we are going to hold strong no matter what happens.
And you're not very impressed with this resignation offer, I take it?
No, I'm not. It's a trick, and a trick will come out in the public as it should.
Dr. Sarkar, that's very acerbically said by Dr. Haldar. It's a trick. This talk of resignation is a trick. Is that how you see it as well?
Barkha, all we would say at this stage that our sort of quota of misfortunes are full and brimming over. Nobody is sort of enjoying this present situation. We are not savoring this at all. The fundamental cause of all this is a total mishandling of the healthcare management in general, law and order in particular. In this very instance, the government, with the chief minister at the helm of it, will have to own up to the responsibility and accountability and get on with an act with professionalism and the responsibility to the state. If we further complicate the situation with all these emotional angles, trying to wage a class war amongst the people of the state, I think this is very, very shortly, if not already, this will spin out of our hands. So let's get on the correctives and sort out this problem sooner rather than later.
And I take it that, like our young doctors, you don't actually think she's going to resign.
Not really. I don't think so. Yeah.
That's politics for you, real politics or cynical politics. I want to say once again, bravo to the young doctors, Dr. Haldar, Dr. Nitish, and all of you. We have images of those doctors that Dr. Sarkar spoke about, squatting outside the gates, waiting for that meeting, just like Mamata Banerjee released her own pictures. Because if it weren't for the protest by the junior doctors, India would not have been talking about justice for the victims. The Supreme Court that ordered the doctors to return to work would not have even picked up the case suo moto were it not for the protests by people like Nitish and Sharanya. So thank you for standing up for justice, for fighting the good fight. This is going to be a tense next few days. A battle of nerves. It's going to be very important to see what happens, and we will reconnect with all of you. God bless. Take care. Dr. Sarkar, Dr. Nitish Parekh, and Dr. Sharanya Haldar. And if you have just tuned in, Mamata Banerjee said she waited, and waited. Nobody showed up. And so if it helps justice, she's thinking that she is open to resigning. She's not interested in the post. If it helps justice, she'll resign. None of our three guests thinks that she's actually going to do it. They think it's a quote unquote trick to manipulate public sentiment and stop public support for the movement on the streets of Kolkata. The doctors say that's not going to happen. The war of nerves is on. Who will blink first? Someone will have to blink. This impasse will have to be broken. The doctors say